I think I'm going to have to work this way. Hey, good people. Well, I know it's Saturday, and I am your host of this 14-day Coming Out Revival. I am LaTanya Taylor, affectionately known as the Rev Coach, the Juicy Spirit Mama, the Coach's Coach, the Priestess of Passion. And I have totally enjoyed sharing my revival with you. I've done, every year it seems like I've done something on coming out, because I see so many people hiding or being hidden by certain aspects of their life. And I certainly have not been exempt. For years, I didn't know that I was empathic and gifted. And I chose God as my drug of choice. Religion, rather, was my drug of choice. And I've gone through several stages of recovery and rebirth to actually come out in layers. And sometimes the resistance from being mistreated, from being disappointed, from having my heart broken, to thinking that maybe I was a misfit, even. And that's where I told the story of being prodigal, feeling prodigal, or choosing the prodigal journey. So you have to look at the other broadcasts to really get the feeling of what I shared in these. Now we're at almost 9 days. I think I'm losing track. I'm just staying the course. And so today I won't be long, because I know it's Saturday and I want to talk to you all about staying the course. Because Saturday is really governed by Saturn, and it's a day of discipline, really. Even though we tend to want to do fun things on Saturday, we look forward to Friday, and then we want to do fun things on Saturday, and that's fine. But, for most of my life, discipline, the way that I approach discipline, particularly when you're looking at manifesting a goal or going to the next level in your life, or ending cycles and creating new legacies in your life, sometimes we start to really take ourselves way too serious and overcorrect. We overcorrect if we've been mistreated. And, this was motivated by being in conversations and other sisters who are sharing some of their abuse experiences and abuse stories, right? And, I'm going to jump right into it, because I want to let you go on this Saturday to do whatever you are up to and you are doing. But when we have been, when we start to kind of wake up and come out of situations where we've either been misjudged, mistreated, misaligned, because sometimes we're just not aligned with our gift, or we're not aligned with the beauty of who we are. It's not our fault. You hear me saying that a lot, because sometimes as women, we tend to hold a lot of guilt, a lot of judgment for ourselves and for other people. And sometimes that can make us rather defensive and really not as open as we think that we are when it comes to moving forward in our process. And these are things that show up when we get ready to start manifesting. Remember, yesterday I did the basics of manifesting, because a lot of times we want to go right into the advanced tools of manifesting, and we haven't even done the basics. We haven't done the basics consistently enough. And when you haven't done the basics consistently enough, then you build the muscle of quitting, of giving up, of shutting down, of attacking, and even overcorrecting, especially if you have been abused, any type of abuse. And we have to make a choice when we stay the course, not just one time, but when you are staying the course, it's a daily decision. Sometimes it's hour by hour, minute by minute, second by second, Because when we are overly emotional as women, we tend to believe the story of that and the emotions that are attached to the story about ourselves or about other people. And just because you are emotional about it does not make it true, and it does not necessarily mean that it is the truth of the other person. And that's why I talked about atonement. I talked about how handling the relationships. Check out the other videos, because then you will have context of what I'm talking about today, particularly as we're talking about solutions. So after we start implementing some manifestation, like we're working on our language, we're reading, maybe we're involved in a process of therapy, something therapeutic, we have a coach, we're engaging in some form of active change, not just once a week, not just getting inspired. Because see, as a people, particularly as melanated people, we have been used to having our emotions titillated. We've used to going to church because it's been a safe place. Because imagine a slave that did not have a way to vent their emotion, that had to swallow atrocities, right, of that what was being done. And so here we get colonized, and missionaries introduce us to a thing called church. Because for us as ancient people, church was our daily activity. Church was things that we did every single day. We entered into a sacred way of being, a sacred process in everything that we did. So our daily life was church. Like literally, it's so bright out here that I'm just trying. It's one of those pretty days in Costa Rica. And so imagine these slaves that are going on Sunday now, and the slave master used to sit in church to make sure that the preacher did not say anything contradictory to anything other than servitude. That's a part of our genetics. That's a part of our experience. And so church now becomes a place of refuge and a place to kind of go unconscious. So when you're talking about going to church just to kind of get relieved, there is more required. And so sometimes this is why we enter into a cycle of, I've been serving God, I've been faithful, I've been following all the rules, I've been you know what I'm talking about. Come on, y'all. You know all the rules we get, through our true heart for God, our love. I don't know why I'm on this religion thing today. I really didn't plan to go here today to talk about staying the course. But I'm laying the context of how we get overly emotional. And so it can feed an addictive behavior, that we have these places we escape, whether your church is the club, whether your church is television, or food. Whether your church is, noble activities where you're constantly busy, work, and our emotions, the emotions that we're trying to cover up and cover over, never get dealt with. And so, but particularly when we bring God into the picture, we are used to going to be emotional about our thing, letting it vent, go have a good dance, and we feel like something has come. But unless you are in a community that is actually touching on these touchstones and teaching you ways of coping, right? So I say that to say we never get called out on our emotions. This may be hard to hear, but we never oftentimes get called out on our emotions by the places that we escape to until their toes get stepped on or until there's something dysfunctional. And so our emotions start to take us out of the game of our own life because we haven't been taught how to cope and how to stay with it. Staying with it is not just a feel-good talk. It's not just a feel-good exercise. Staying with it is when evidence all around you makes you want to quit. It's staying with it is when the emotions come up and somebody is on your nerves, somebody hurts your feelings. When you, even in a relationship, in a marriage, you have to stay with that thing. If you ever been in a conversation, in a marriage, or in any love relationship, and you're in the middle of it, and you're trying to get to what's going on, what's the breakdown, what is the argument about, and the person walks out on you. Sometimes that hurt worse than staying there and letting the whole thing ride out, right? Well, we do that to ourselves. We walk out. I'll tell you in a minute. They are Ankh earrings. They're called the Ankh. Look up the Ankh. It's an ancient symbol. It's a conversion of the masculine and feminine principle. It's where you get your cross from. It's where the original cross came from. Everything comes from ancient society, and it's covered over and coded in this society. Where was I? I promise not to just answer questions, because I will never be able to get this out. But what we do then sometimes also when we have had an experience is we overcorrect. Sometimes, when they say too much of anything, it's not good. And so what happens is we get used to quitting on ourselves and never calling ourselves on the tendency to quit, the tendency to walk away, the tendency to be discouraged or to doubt. For instance, I did not grow up in a household where we did a whole lot of arguing, a whole lot of verbal jousting and joning and all of that. I don't have brothers, so I don't know. I don't have the tool of a whole lot of joning. So what and then you couple that with being an empath, I probably came off sometimes as too serious. Now I have a sense of humor. Any of my friends know that I'm super silly, but I'm serious about my business. I'm serious about my purpose and about my work. That was sweet, whoever said that. And so I'm saying this because we have to consider the source. We have to consider the source of our tendency to want to pull back, to quit. I understand that sometimes we look at our bank account. I understand that we look at things that are out of our control. So let me get to the part about out of our control. I'm talking about also relationships, other people's personality. When you know that you may have trespassed against someone and they're still holding it when you're ready to forgive or to apologize or to release it. Those situations are out of our control. Sometimes we've lost jobs or there have been things that happen in the culture or in society. For instance, we witness what has been happening with the murders of black boys. These things have an impact on us, and we feel like they're out of our control. And sometimes there's a tendency when we are up to a big purpose to say, well, what is it worth it? Can I do it? That type of thing. There are many things that are sometimes it feels like it's out of our control. What is in our control is not taking ourselves so seriously. And this is where pleasure comes in. Pleasure, the willingness to play, the willingness to explore your bliss. Many of us have been taught how to be disciplined, but we have not been taught how to live in blissipline. It's a new concept for some that I want you to consider. Because when it's time to move forward, you don't always have to go at it like Rambo or the Terminator. When it's time to move forward, You can dance, you can play, you can sing, you can go laugh, you can take off the lid of laughter, you can be silly. I always recommend to women, sometimes when you have been taking yourself so seriously, when you have been in performance all the time, go skip, go have a dance break. Get off of needing to figure it out, trying to control the outcome. And sometimes, and when you take a risk, when you enter into the zone of unknown, entering into going where no man has gone before in your own life, when you enter into that space, it can feel scary. It can feel uncomfortable. But so what? Develop the spirit of so what? I'm going to dance anyway. I'm going to laugh anyway. I'm going to play. It does not have to go so tight, so always so tight, so rigid. Even sacred processes that we're in are not always meant for us to have to control it, to know the outcome. A part of being magical and making room for miracles is actually being able to just play. So today, I'm not just going to talk about it. I'm being about it. My husband and I, if I were walking in Costa Rica, I would love to take you with me. But I want to always make sure that I have a strong internet signal. So we are about to go join another couple, the Young Black Expats, where we do our planning and partnering, and we share time together, where we laugh and we let our hair down, and we talk about things that we have in common. Get you some people that are like minds. Sometimes it's time for you to change your circle in order for you to stay the course. Because when you are up to change, the people who have not made the same commitment that you have made may not want to change. But guess what, y'all? Remember, ¿cómo está? Okay, look, you gotta see them, okay? I'm gonna turn the camera around. Look, she's coming. She must miss me. Hi, Zuri. You're on camera. Look, Zuri. Zuri. Can you see her, y'all? Tell me if you can see her. Zuri. People are looking at you all in the United States and other places, and this is her baby. This is her baby. She just had that baby. I saw her. I posted pictures about her, but we're just going to seize the moment. How about that? Talking about playfulness. And the baby and the mommy horse comes. Look at Zuri, y'all. Zuri. Zuri. Zuri, look. Look, Zuri. Look at Zuri and the baby. I don't know the baby's name yet, but that's Zuri, y'all. She comes every day to say hi to me and Smokey. You see her now? It's so much sun and mixture of shade. These are things that remind me to play. These are things let me tell you how powerful manifestation is before I close out. When I went home after relocating to Costa Rica, as a little girl, I always envisioned having two things: horses and monkeys. Well, do you know that horse is on my wall in my childhood home when I went back home? So we are always manifesting, and sometimes we forget that we're manifesting. Now, that's not my horse, but where my house is, I'm able to fellowship with this horse and another one. There's another one, and now the baby. But that horse was on my wall at home. I almost broke down and cried. But that's how simple manifestation is when you get out of your way. There will be things that you forgot that you wanted. That's what's happened to most of us when we become grown. We forget about the things that we once wanted for ourselves. Or maybe you had a childhood where you never had an opportunity to really envision what it is that you wanted for yourself. It's okay. Let your innocence come back to you. Let your desires come back to you. Let yourself really give yourself permission to go through the catalog of your own vision for yourself and put little check marks by, hoping that Santa Claus brings it to you. But the Santa Claus is not going to be some lie, some imaginary person that's coming down a chimney that further disconnects you from your power. The Santa Claus is going to be you. It's going to be you. And you are that magical. So I'm so glad. I'm sorry about the light today. As you can see, it's so many sunny spots, and I'm so thankful for the sun, the vitamin D, and so grateful that the few of you who joined today were able to join. I look forward to sharing with those of you who will be on the prayer call tomorrow. Check out my website, rebirthinternational.net. Go to the page called Inspiration if you want to join the prayer call with us tomorrow at 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, and every Sunday at 8 o'clock, Super Soul Sister Sunday. And then I will be back here again at 12 o'clock tomorrow, sharing something super yummy with all of you. Thank you for joining me on a Saturday. I love you, and there's nothing you can do about it.